Hi there, this is Jo with StampingJo.com and welcome to week 3 of Stamping 411. We are still focusing on the Snow is Glistening stamp set. Now, the last couple of weeks you saw me use some of the snowflakes and the die cuts, and today I'm going to be focusing on this beautiful triangular Christmas tree. So we basically need 3 pieces of cardstock. We have the lemon lime twist, which is cut to 5.5 by 8.5, and then I just scored and folded it at the 4 1/4 mark. We have Tranquil Tide cut to 4 by 5 1/4, and then the Whisper White, which is cut to 3 3/4 by 5. So we're going to start with stamping of the tree. Now, I'm going to warn you, this tree is really detailed. So we do want to make sure that it's really inked well. And I actually found that using our paper piercing mat, which is pretty handy to have when you are using our photopolymer stamps. So stamping on top of here gives it better pressure so that you can get your entire tree on there. We're going to use the lemon lime twist and just tap on there. I actually inked mine a little bit because I wanted a little bit darker impressions, and I found that I was running out of ink a little bit. So if you're not having a nice color come out, then you may just need to get the re-inker and ink it up. The great thing about photopolymer, of course, is that you can see through it. So we want the first tree to be onto the left-hand side. And you're going to take a little bit of time to make sure that every spot has been pressed down. When you feel confident that you've done that, just carefully peel it and see how beautiful that detail is. It's just gorgeous. So now we're going to do the right-hand side, and you're going to do the exact same thing. Make sure it's nicely inked and then give it nice even pressure. I tried it without this mat, and I guarantee you, it makes all the difference in the world. When you have the 2 trees stamped on there, we can come back and we're going to adhere our Whisper White to our Tranquil Tide. And then we're going to loop around our ribbon. So I actually used the Tranquil Tide ribbon. It's our velvet ribbon, and it is so pretty. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on camera, but it is really, really velvety and so soft, and it looks so nice in real life. So you want to cut a piece of ribbon that's just a little bit longer. These are not the right scissors, but anyhow, pretend you didn't see that. So a little bit longer, and then we're going to take our tear and tape, and we're just going to tear off a couple of little ones. And I want it to be in the lower third of my actual card. So just bring it, then we can use the tear and tape on the other side. And then of course want to make sure it's somewhat straight. The grid lines on this paper are actually kind of nice if you're looking at making sure that it's straight, because you can kind of line it up to the grid. Okay, so about there is good. And then just tape that other side like this. Now I find when I do use ribbon on my card, I tend to want to use a stronger adhesive. So I am in love with this tear and tape. It is so easy to use and really, really strong. So I don't want this popping off because that ribbon is a little bit bulky. So I'm just going to add that. And if you have good nails, you can get in there and take that piece off, or you could just use paper snips, which make it really easy to get that backing off. When you have the backings taken off, we're going to put that onto our background card. And those colors are so pretty together. Greens and trees, right? I was trying to decide which colors I liked and for this card, and the lemon lime twist just talked to me. So there, so that's your first step. Now, your next tree, we're going to actually do a little bit of a technique on it. I don't exactly know what the technique name is. I saw somebody else doing this on a different card, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to reserve that in the back of my mind for a card that I have coming up, and I thought about it today. So, it's either, I don't know, it's either marker thumping or tapping or something. I'm going to call it marker tapping. So we're actually using the Tranquil Tide marker. Now our markers have two tips. These are the dye-based markers. So they have the brush tip and then they have a writing tip. So we're going to need the brush tip for this one. So I've already pre-inked it in the Lemon Lime Twist. And then we're going to take just the tip and you're literally just going to give it little taps everywhere just to add that secondary color to the tree. And it looks so much fun once you stamp it. So before you decide if you like it, actually turn it upside down. You can get a little bit of an idea whether you've missed a few spots or you're happy with what it is. So I'm just going to go a little bit more on this side. And I think that's probably good. So now, because the markers do dry out a little bit, and so just the ink, if you leave it on there a little bit, we're going to huff on the stamp. So you're literally just going to put your breath to it and just huff on it to re-moisten it. And then we're going to just stamp that. And again, make sure you have nice, even pressure everywhere. Isn't that so pretty? Look at the multiple colors in there. I love the way that turned out. So for the next step, you can actually use an X-Acto knife and a ruler, or if you just want to go really simple, just use paper snips to cut that out, or you can use your Stampin' Trimmer. So for that, I actually just laid it on there, and see the inside part of my track? If you actually line that up with that ruler and then just cut it, it works really, really well. So we're going to do the same for the other side. It actually helps me to put my finger on the inside of where that is so that I can make sure that I know where that line is, because it is a little bit hard to see sometimes. So once we have it cut out, we're going to pull back in our card, and we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that so that we can pop it up on top of that ribbon. So you can see I use every single piece of my Stampin' Dimensionals, and once I hit, you know, where I don't have the actual, what are they called, octagons, I actually just use the edges and my paper snips, and I start to cut. Now because this tree has a point here, it's actually handy to use the side here, and we can go back into like a smaller space like that and put our dimensional on it. We're going to place that near the middle of our card, in between the two trees that we have there, but just a tiny little bit to the left of it. So for the next step, I actually took the Joy stamp with Tranquil Tide ink, and I'm just going to stamp that basically on the same color of cardstock as the ink, like that. And then I'm going to punch it out using my 1 1/4 inch circle punch. I found it a little bit too dull just like that, so I went back in with one of my snowflakes in the Lemon Lime Twist, and I just centered my snowflake and stamped it on top, so it just had a little bit more of a design on there. So we're going to take that, and for this piece we only need a dimensional on the right hand side. Okay, so this side here, and then use snail on the left hand side because that's the piece that's going to go on top of our tree. So you want it to go basically like that. Okay, and then we have one last step which I think adds a lot of fun to this card and really makes it. We're going to use our rhinestone basic jewels, and we're going to add the jewels in the middle of our little snowflakes that are on the tree. See how sparkly and beautiful that makes it? So there's a few different sizes. I actually use the smaller size, so the smallest one of our rhinestones, because I thought that just went really well with it. But you can alternate, or you can do whatever it is that you'd like. Just adds a little bit of bling bling, which I love. Look at how pretty it looks with all those beautiful rhinestones. It just adds that extra little bit of bling bling to it, and it just looks so beautiful. So this week I'm actually going to be giving away a set of rhinestones because I believe that everybody should have these. And so you can win by doing a comment on this on my Facebook page or on my YouTube channel. And also, if you share it, you'll get another entry to win these. So share it with a friend who you know is a crafter, or just leave me a comment. I love to hear what you think. So thank you so much. I'll see you next Friday on the next Stamping 411 video. Have a great day.